Check one, check two. Yo, what's going on? Much respect, y'all. Fresh, never stale. Daily Puff. Yo, it's Hip Hop Appreciation Week. The 2024 theme is graffiti. So I've been up here all week, puffing trees with y'all at 420. And we've been watching Star Wars, a hip hop classic, you know what I'm saying? Graffiti documentary, but a hip hop documentary overall. But a graffiti documentary. Much respect to everyone who's been watching live and on the playback. I'm looking at the digits on the clock right now, and it's about time I spark up this crop. About to blaze up this bluefin tuna. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know what you blazing. Roll it if you got it. Light it if it's twisted. Let's get lifted. We're going to continue the journey with Star Wars Revisited because there's a lot of value in the knowledge that they kick behind the scenes here. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know what you're sparking. Let's get to it, y'all.
By the time Star Wars came along, everything was already established. You had your piece, your 3D, your cloud, your designs, your character. That's like before people knew how to make a real cloud. You just drew a box around your name and filled it in. Red Devil green, Red Devil orange, probably all Red Devil. You know, I'll go down this line of all these names of all the people that just rule the trains. When I think of the kings of train lines, I think of Moses, Piper, Cliff, 8181, Taboo 1, Take 5. That's the real king of the 6th line. Kindu, Bannet, Ski 168, Purple Haze 168. For the 2s and the 5s, it would be the original Crazy 5 members. Ajax and Common also, because they came after. Super Cool 223. That guy's name was every place you could ever imagine from 70 through 74. Anywhere in the city, up to Connecticut, out to Rockaway, get on a boat, you know, and goes, and Super Cool 223. Those are the kings, people that are all 50 years old. Staff 161, Phase 2, obviously. The Man 550, there's a name. JJS 225, the name on the window there, amazing. Hondo 1, who did the first whole car top to bottom in Red Devil pastel yellow. Deadleg 161 did the one with Priest, and there's the Super Sex floater. That was incredible. So when you saw this go by, like everybody on the train station would stop. Like, what the fuck is that?
For the most part, I think most writers picked lines because they really identified in how that system went. The 5 was like a tough, like, loner. The 4s were like, the 4 was like some trust fund kid, you know? The 2s was like, let me see, the 1 was like the black sheep of the family. The 3 was like the really, you know, vulgar, arrogant father, and, you know, the 7 was the mother.
One of my favorite places was between 111 and 104. That was the A-Labs. Yeah. And then further down, we got Grant. Then on the J's, you had 111th Street, 75th Street, Union Turnpike. I never brought enough paint for Union Turnpike. Never. Oh, go shorty. If you got really real serious out of there, you just had to jump in the Harlem River or East River? Woo-hoo. Which was it? Harlem River. That's right. And if you come up with, you know, a few things crawling on you, no big deal, you just brush them off.
Where I was painting at, which is, won't tell you.
Brakes on a plane, brakes on a train, brakes to make you go insane. These are the brakes. Break it up, break it up, break it up.
I felt as though if I did this, it's like doing a good thing and favoritism to myself, far as good luck-wise or whatever, you know? So I didn't mind generating my generosity, you know, so I did it. Say the Crusaders and all the Raiders are gonna make sure we're the originally creators. Say what?
Case come up from Edmore Projects up in 149th off of Jackson. You cannot forget him, regardless of what he only known for one arm, but he never let that hold him down. Case come forward to you like a full-fledged member, a standard person. a diehard of the ghetto.
They always came to me with paint, whatever, and say, yo, Case, man, hook me up this and that, hook me up with style. I did it. I gave him style 'cause I had so much style from having so much spark of charisma, you know, wisdom and knowledge plus understanding behind it, you know.
In his city, $6 million man, you know?
Donnie was probably the most influential writer in my life. He took graph into different directions. It can go almost anywhere.
I guess it's pretty much like anything I would do on a train, I would do on canvas.
Compared to like a piece on a train, this is like a miniature, dude.
He just didn't put out work just to have sheer numbers.
A lot of people don't know, like, there's a lot of writers that had done top to bottom and they had done it on a platform. This man did it 2 feet away from the train.
In the book of names, Dondi means fun.
He taught me the way of the letter.
Originally in 1982, when Henry and Tony, asked to interview us, we had actually just done, a couple nights prior, we had just done some pieces right very near here. However, that wall is long gone.
When we did pieces back in the day, we used to get fucked up. Quarts of beer, peyote, mescaline, acid, cocaine, chiba, you name it. We're getting dusted, zooted. Some of our pieces were homages to our psychedelic and chemical endeavors there.
They were interviewed that day? No, we were.
Nah, we were like straight edge. Favorite scenes in the movie? Probably when Quick and Min and Satch are in the Grant layup and then the 75th Avenue.
Yeah, and I like when Iz is getting interviewed down there and he's all sweaty. I'm so elated that even though we were only in there for so briefly.
Actually, were we cut out of one of the versions?
We weren't actually in the
short version,
the TV version.
Oh yeah, Quick's piece is backwards.
Right.
Look for Quick's piece backwards in the original Style Wars.
When was the last time you did a piece?
Say about 6 months ago.
Oh, that's not long.
For me, it's an eternity. My first name is Mike, and there's a ton of Mikes out there. I started by writing Ike first. I dropped the M. There was no Ikes out, so I always like to be original. Is the Wiz, it could be broken down to Is, and then when I do Burners, it could be Is the Wiz. It takes up more room. A king, to quote a famous book, is someone they either want to write with or fight with. On a 10-car train, if somebody constantly has 5 to 7 pieces on that train, you want to have 8 to 10 or 15 pieces on that train. Okay, the object of being a king is to have more than anybody else. To quote somebody else in a famous movie, not the biggest, not the most beautifulest, but more.
I didn't start writing to go to Paris. I didn't start writing to do canvases. I started writing a bomb to destroy all lines. And that's what I'm doing.
Now that you've heard that, you understand what I'm saying to you when I say that I don't understand him. He's out there to bomb, destroy all lines. What have the lines ever done to him?
What he was doing was dangerous and illegal, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Barbara, you told me when I first called you to ask if you would be willing to undergo an interview, and you said, what I had to say about graffiti, you don't want to hear.
Who I am now? Well, I'm in the United States Army. I've been in the Army for 17 years. It'll be 18 in September. Sergeant Major, which is like the highest enlisted grade in the Army. Graffiti was a mission. It really prepared me for the Army because you had to start from a draft, you had to get your materials, then you had to be dedicated. You couldn't say, well, I got a piece to do, and then, 2 weeks go by and you never do it.
Was there any type of special way that you prepared before you went out to hit trains?
No, the only preparation I did was a nickel bag. That was it.
The nickel bag might have been one preparation. The other preparation was the misappropriation of every cap that I had on a can of spray. Whatever kind of spray it was missing. Okay? You go and you take out something, you want to spray the room, the cap is gone. You know, you take something, you get ready to clean the oven, the cap is gone, all right?
I like bombing.
Are you filming this?
Yeah, I hope so. Ain't no reason to do girl stuff. If you want competition,
At least chivalry's not dead.
Put it
And
this
everything
way.
pretty is getting dogged. Have you seen that?
Well, you're proving right here that at Graffiti Productions that going over people is not the only way to get fame. So
Right.
you have your side too.
But
I'm just
who's
doing
gonna-
my own thing.
But who's gonna tell these little toy riders here that this is one way to get fame, and the other way they see to get fame is to go over people?
Yeah, but I go over them
'Cause-
too.
Have you seen the movie Star Wars?
Oh, he's in there? I've seen that movie like a whole bunch of times.
Do you remember the scene where the kid's like going over everybody?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
In the beginning of writing from 70 through 79, people didn't write write over each other. It's like what's the point? You know, you're all out there trying to get up and see who can bomb the most. And when people did have a problem, you'd hot 110 over some other guy until he would stop. Let's say you wrote over part of their piece or you touched something, and sooner or later you'd meet like by some high school over a basketball game or whatever, and like two people would stand there and just like punch it out, and whoever was standing up at the end is the winner. And within a week later or maybe a month later, you could be in the same yard, and I'm like, I need some of your Fed Purple, and I could lend you some school bus yellow for your cloud. And it was just done.
You would do like a beautiful whole car, and he'd know you went over one of his caps. You know, his famous Lucille Ball hairdos, like I said in the movie. And he would, next thing you know, you'd have cap throw-ups right dead in the center of all your burners.
So what do you plan to do in the future? You're gonna keep just
Well,
like
put it
going
this
over the
way.
people that you've been going over,
I
or
think
you're gonna
tonight-
make peace with some people?
That's it. I'm not like people. You go over one of mine, I go over one of yours. You go over one of mine, I go over everything you're gonna do, ever. Anywhere I can find it, anywhere. And when I catch you, I just beat the shit out of you. That's it.
To me, I was a writer first. As I matured, then I became an artist. I'm pretty much the same cool, calculating person I was back in the days. To me, I take a challenge, you know, any way I got to deal with it.
What do you think when you look back on the kid then?
I should have been hitting the trains maybe 5 or 6 years before I started.
Why?
Why?
Got up more?
Yeah, maybe I would have got up a lot greater. I wouldn't say so much as more. I would have been probably involved in different things at the time when the movie was made.
After we had done that wall, I really didn't want anybody else with pictures of that. So that night, I went back there and I slapped a scene throw-up over my own piece. PJ had a little conflict with Duster at the time too, so he slapped the PJ over the Duster. Duster came by and saw the scene and the PJ over it. He came back and put a Duster over the PJ and a Duster over the scene. And that's when I believe Cap came back again and slapped the wall with throw-ups. That's the filmmaker's job. That's Hollywood.
The transit system definitely doesn't like to be defaced, and sometimes they go to the extreme to try and apprehend you. I know cracks and crevices that they haven't even heard of yet.
We had information that these kids, about 4 or 5 kids, were going to go to a layup area and do some painting. So we went there, and it was nighttime, it's dark, there's no moon out. In dead of winter, finally we hear the kids. There were about 20 kids there.
We got raided. And there was probably about 30 people in the yard at that time. And I was painting, Des was painting, and a cop was so close to me, I looked up, and he was literally like standing right there, and he was sneaking up on me. And I just happened to see him out of my peripheral vision. And of course, we all jetted.
We opened the door, jumped down. We grabbed about 2 or 3 kids, and we let it be known to them at the time that we want the rest of the people to give us a call. And we gave them our number. The next day, the phone was constantly ringing off the hook, just waiting to just about surrender.
The cops coming, you understand, or a rival crew, you understand what I'm saying? That was the whole rush of it. I mean, come on, man. Anybody can get a permit and go to a wall and do some fucking mess. Nah, that ain't, I'm not co-signing that, man.
I've never been caught for painting trains. Never went to jail for it. And I painted over 5,000 cars. I think Comet was caught once. Them, Crotchy, and Death were never caught for painting trains. These are all people painting thousands and thousands of pieces. Never went to jail.
I know where you live at, so I'm going to pick you up sooner or later. You might as well just give yourself up. And they're really well known for that. What gives you away is ink in your hands. Because you're doing inside, right? So usually, like, you would try to, you try to talk it out. Nah, man, like, I dropped something in the track, and I went down there to get it and all that, and you're trying to keep your hands in your pocket like this, and I show your hands. And then he'll tell you, well, let me see your hands. And when you show your hands, they're inked up. They got an arrest right there for graffiti.
So this cop, well, first he's chasing me down the aisle, so real quick, I just hang a quick left, and I go in between the car, and I get up on top of the train. And as he climbs up, I just jump to the next train. So every time he jumps to one, I jump over. And he says to me, he said, well, once you give yourself up, he said, basically he was telling me he was going to beat me up on the way downtown. And he said, the more you make me chase you, the worse it's going to be going downtown. So we were up there, and there's no way he could catch me because he had on, you know, the belt and the gun, and there's no way the guy could catch me. And he was getting real pissed.
He can comply, or he doesn't have to comply. He can come with me, or he doesn't have to come with me. One way or another, he's going to come with me, though.
Even when I was 16, I could never imagine that it would end. In a sense, I didn't even take a lot of photographs because I just thought it was like a New York way of life. You know, the way you drive your car and take taxis and smoke joints and things like that. It's just a New York way of life, bombing trains.
The trains gave me a chance of not having to do a 9-to-5 job Monday through Friday. Tired of the flat paintings. I just want to make things that can just stand by themselves that you can walk around, you know?
I thought this was cool because this kind of reminded me of the fence of the yards. I started looking at Frank Stella's work and the Russian constructivists, and I said, I want to burn these guys. I want to burn, just want to do something different. You have to bite. None of us would be doing what we're doing if we didn't bite at one point or another. The arrow, you know, everybody's got their arrow, and such an important part of my work and graph that I wanted to do like a piece that just stripped it down.
Paintings, storyboards, comic books, album cover designs.
He designed the Yo MTV Raps logo.
Yo, MTV Raps.
I guess like I'm sort of become like the documenter, you know, like Henry, but more a typewriter. Has been for like the last 5 or 6 years.
I look at myself as a limited B-boy, but you know, 20 years later, we're in our 30s and we're still doing this. I'll be remembered as a B-boy, but I'm gonna live and die as a human, you know?
In '95, I had taken really ill. I feel I was as close to death as I'll ever come. And they fed me intravenously for about 4 months. And the kidneys went, probably due to all the paint fumes over the years, all the steel dust, cement dust. Any toxin that goes into your body is going to be filtered through your kidneys. And that was a lot of years of toxicity.
Yet it was still worth it.
I would trade it all back for perfect health. Every drop of fame, every drop of glory, every magazine I was ever in, every movie I was ever in, I would give it all back in a heartbeat to have my health.
I kind of got messed up after I stopped writing because there was like a void in my life.
I see Daddy now.
You know, because I didn't write anymore. You know, so I kind of like got into like getting high, and I went through like, you know, people know the deal about, you know, like what I went through. I went through like a rough time, but you know, and then I went to prison for a few years, and now like I've been out of prison for like 5 years, and you know, I got my life together, and you know, I got a little family.
Drug selling, and I was locked up, and I was sitting back like, you know, going through my life like, yo, man, when I get out of here, I'm not going back on the block to do that same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell them, yo, I did this, I'm the king of this, you ain't the king of shit. And then I look back at the music and I said, damn, because I was there when it first started. And, you know, step by step.
Hot 97, baby, blazing hip hop and R&B, #1.
The Subways doesn't have that soul that it had, you know. That charisma of old New York, rickety, rackety, you know, cyclone kind of style. I like those bouncing trains and lights flickering and maybe a door not opening or something like that, you know.
If I could go back to them days, I'd do it again, man. It was the fun. Like, you had to really be there or be involved to see the shit. The shit was crazy, man.
I almost feel like I'm 17 years old, you know? It's a weird feeling.
He says he feels like he's 17. When I look at him, he is still looking at me in that same silly way that he
I didn't have graffiti. I'd be riding around in a Porsche. You know, my father's very wealthy. And my father kind of like cut me off through the years because I was so wild.
Would you trade it?
No, I wouldn't trade nothing because I got my son. So if anything would have went different, he wouldn't be here. This is my heart right here. So I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
For them to say it didn't assist or it wasn't true, or not even acknowledgement, because all we know about graffiti now is the books that we see, the movies that we see. But where's our day in court, so to say? Where is our day in court?
Star Wars is a style that always gonna be around for the duration of time. You know why? We felt proud that if we was known for what music we played, we felt proud that who was on the dance floor showcasing their footwork, that they part of us. Who was showcasing their artwork, they were part of us. We felt like we was one thing. That go to show you that old saying, a child shall lead you.
Star Wars Revisited. I thought there was some value in going back one more time to Star Wars so we could see the behind the scenes and catch up with a few of them later on in life and reflect on where they were at back then. Hip-hop don't stop, neither should you, y'all. Hip-hop Appreciation Week. Shout out to the WC. If you didn't know, my crew is mad dope. Yo, I'll be here tomorrow with a little more graffiti-themed hip-hop, but as well with the Hexachronic Mix every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Respect everyone who's been watching live and on the playback. Fresh, never stale. See y'all tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time.